Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on BJPen.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 40 ahead of UFC 263. We got a really stacked lineup for you. We're first going to be joined by one half of the co-main event, Brandon Moreno, to preview his flyweight title fight rematch against Deiveson Figueiredo. Obviously, they fought at UFC 256. It was a majority draw, one of the best fights of 2020. They're running it back now, so I talked to Brandon about kind of now having a full camp to prepare for Figueiredo and what kind of changes now that he knows the power, if his game plan is going to change. But really good stuff from Brandon. We're next going to be joined by Eryk Anders to preview his also a rematch against Darren Stewart. They're actually going up to 205. Remember, they fought at middleweight just a couple of weeks back in March 13th, that one card, and Anders dropped him early. It was looking good for Anders, and then he threw that knee to the ground opponent. Stewart said he couldn't continue. It was ruled a no contest. Now they're rematching at light heavyweight. So I kind of talk about why that's happening and what he kind of takes away from the first fight entering the rematch. And after that, we're going to be joined by Matt Frevola to preview his fight against Frank Camacho. This should be a really entertaining fight for as long as it lasts. Both Frevola and Camacho have fighting power. Frevola, I also talked about his full fight on experience. Remember, he was supposed to fight Alman Zatar. Then weigh-ins happened, and Zatar's out for sneaking people in, and then he ends up fighting Arman Sarukian at UFC 257. All those circumstances. So definitely a weird one. Frevola's looking to get back in the win column. We also touch on his brother. Picked up a win at Barstool Sports' Rough and Rowdy recently as his bachelor party. So that was a funny part of the chat, but good stuff from Matt. We're then going to be joined by Steven Peterson to preview his big fight against Chase Hooper. Steven's a guy that I talked to for quite some time, making his return. Remember, he hasn't fought since last September 2019, when he had that beautiful spinning back fist KO over Martin Bravo. He had a fight booked in February, and he had a fight booked in February 2020, had to pull out, and then a fight booked in February 2021, had to pull out just because due to some injuries, but he's fully healthy now, and he thinks he can go out there and knock out Chase Hooper. And we then close things out talking to Frank Camacho to preview his fight against Matt Frevola. Frank knows it's a do or die for his UFC career. He's got to win this. He's going to stay in the UFC, and he feels really confident he can land that KO shot and get a highlight reel win. But thank you all for listening. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode, and be sure to share the show and subscribe. And thank you.
Let's go.
All right, we're joined by the UFC flyweight title challenger once again, Brandon Moreno. Brandon, man, how's it going?
Hey, man, nice to talk with you again, bro. Thanks for the space again, too.
Yeah, no worries. Obviously, rematching Deiveson Figueiredo, but we got to talk about that first fight again. Obviously, the quick turnaround, the draw. Now that you have a full camp, what do you take away from that first fight now that you've had time to really look back on it?
Obviously, I saw the fight, and me and my team, we saw like a few mistakes in the first fight. But even with that, we think we making a really good work in that fight. Obviously Figueiredo, he's a really tough opponent. He's real. That's why he's the champion. But I feel comfortable with this rematch because I feel, stronger than ever, faster than ever. My body feels so different. The game plan goes well. In the training sessions. I feel like another athlete. So man, I'm ready for this rematch, and I'm excited to.
And with Figueiredo too, everyone kind of wondered what his cardio would be like if you got him past those second and third rounds. And now that he went 5, do you still think he fades as the fight goes on?
Depends, I mean, he cuts a lot of weight. He's a huge 125er. That can affect in his performance. About his cardio, about his resistance. Uh, Maybe he make an some for this fight and put his weight a little bit lower than the other fights. So we'll see. At least for me, I'm working so hard in my conditioning too. I know the fifth round was hard for us, at least for me. So I'm trying to make a better pace in that fifth fight, if it's necessary. If it's necessary, but obviously I wanna fuck this guy in the first round.
Your arm was hurt too in that first fight. How much of an impact do you think that had on the fight?
I mean, too much. Actually, in the fifth round, I was trying to pick my better shots because my shoulder was painful in that moment. So definitely that affect in my performance. But obviously, everything is just about excuses. I need to fight again and show my skills and be the next champion.
Everyone kind of talked about Figueiredo's power of how he knocks out everyone. Now that you've kind of felt that power for 25 minutes, is this something where you can go and strike with him and feel confident striking with him?
Actually, that part of the fight will be very important. The first fight I was very careful about his power, because everybody was talking about him like he's very powerful, he's a bully, he's aggressive, all this stuff. But I fought against him. I really felt his power, and I can tell you, brother, he's a human being just like you and me. He go to the bathroom just like you and me. So I get so much confidence with the last fight, and I know I can be aggressive too. I can put a lot of pressure too. So this fight will be interesting in that part.
Do you expect to wrestle him at any point in the fight, or do you think it's going to be mostly on the feet?
For me, the wrestling, the grappling is always there. Figueredo is good. He has good reaction with the submissions. We saw that with, for example, Alex Perez with the guillotine. He has good reaction, but it's a regular jiu-jitsu. He doesn't have too much wrestling. Maybe he's working on that for this fight. I don't know, but I'm prepared for that if it's necessary.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because obviously the first fight was a back and forth, one of the best fights of the year. You both showed off your durability. Like, it's going to be hard for either of you guys to put each other out.
I need to be a bully too. I need to be aggressive. I need to put pressure. And that's it. It's the game plan is maybe very similar than the first fight. I need to take care, obviously, of his power, but at the same time, I need to get confidence on me, on my own skills, on my own powers, obviously.
What would it mean for you to become the UFC champ, for the first, 100% Mexican UFC champ?
Man, everything, everything. When I start this sport, everything was, just to get some fun. But now it's my life, and it's not just for me; it's for my family. I mean, with this last fight, everything changed. And imagine if I get the title now, so I need to work on that. So I really want to be the next flyweight champion of the world.
Do you expect, like, do you think you're going to be able to finish Davison, or do you think this fight's probably going to go the distance again?
I don't know, man. He's very durable. That is true. He's very durable. He, I, I'm always trying to finish the fight, but in this level, it's too hard to finish the other guys, but because the level is very high. So I'm just trying to to be the best version of myself. I'm trying obviously to finish the fight, but you never know.
Fighting in front of the fans again, like, how different will that be now that you got the full crowd back?
Man, I'm excited. I'm very excited because you know what? I fought in Arizona before. Actually, before to go to the UFC, I fought in Arizona like 5 times in a row in a local promotion there, WFF. So I have fans there, a fan base there. I know a lot of people there. So I'm excited, for that. And the people again going to the arena. The people right now, I'm more excited than ever. Because they are very hungry to live sports.
The fight in Arizona, it's obviously the 30-foot octagon, back to the big one. You fought in the smaller one in the Apex. Like, how do you think that's going to change the fight?
Good question, brother. I don't know. Maybe help me. Because I think I have a better footwork, so I can use better angles and use more the space. and Figueredo is a little bit more is a little bit more slower, slowly. So that made me can help me in this fight.
You kind of mentioned it. Like Davidson's kind of a bully in there. He likes being the guy that's pressuring. So is part of the game plan to pressure him and see how good he fights off his back foot? Because no one ever really walks down Davison. He's always the guy walking his opponent down.
That happens because the people respect too much his power. But again, I felt his power before in the last fight, and yes, he's very powerful. But it's a normal power. It's nothing out of this world. So man, I need to be aggressive with him. Make him feel uncomfortable. So I can do that. I really believe I can do that.
How many times have you watched the first fight?
Man, I don't know, like 5, 10, 100, a lot, man. To be honest, a lot of times.
Is there certain things you've kind of found what Davison has like tendencies to do that you think you can kind of exploit in this fight?
Yes, maybe yes. I mean, again, the guy is real, brother. The guy is a real athlete. He's powerful, yes. That's why he's a champion. But he has a lot of mistakes. He has a lot of mistakes, and I can take advantage of that.
How much stock do you put in the first fight? Because from my point of view, I don't think either of you guys were at your best that night. Just because you just fought in November, you had back-to-back weight cuts. Like I expect you guys to be both a lot better in this time around.
Yes, man. Everything was hard for. I know, not just for me. I mean, I know what's hard for Figueredo too. That's why I think this fight can be awesome. The last fight, I mean, was crazy. Like a really hard pace between him and I. And at least for me, I'm just trying to be the better version of myself, and that's it. Uh, a lot of different things with the game plan, but it is what it is. I'm I'm waiting for a better version of Figueiredo too. That's true, but man, I need to wait for a better version of myself too.
I was looking at your record. It's almost 2 years ago to the date you fought June 7th when you won the LFA belt. Like, if I were to tell you after that day, like nearly 2 years later, you're going to be fighting for the UFC belt, like, would you have believed that?
Man, what a journey! What a journey I have. This life is a roller coaster. I always say that. A lot of good moments, a lot of bad moments, but it's part of the life. It's part of the never give up, always go forward. And in that moment, I remember the fight in LFA. I just wanted to win a fight again. Before that fight, I lost against Pantoja and Sergio Perez, and I just wanted to fight and win again. And when I beat this, I forget the name of the uh,
Uh,
Michael
McAlpine,
Perez.
yeah.
Michael Perez. When I fought against him and I get the victory, everything was I feeling better in the correct way again. So I know, man, it's a crazy journey. You never know. Maybe I can write a book of my history. You never know.
What's it like for you to be a part of this card? Like, you're the co-main event. You have Adesanya fighting in the main event. You have Nate Diaz the fight before you. Like, this is gonna be one of the bigger cards they put on.
Man, everything is special. We have Adesanya against Vettori in the main event, an amazing fight. Adesanya, this amazing a striker, awesome striking a striker. We have Marvin Vettori, always the underdog, but always winning his fights, beating his opponents. And we go to Glendale with a full arena, with with all the crowd again. You can see the last pay-per-view events, UFC 161 and 62, and the people was crazy in that moment. So I'm waiting for that, and I'm excited to live that moment.
You're about a similar underdog to what you were in the first fight. You were 250 the first fight. You're about 200, 220 this time around. Does that surprise you?
Never. Not this time. I feel actually very comfortable being the underdog. I understand. I understand. I'm look like a little kid, like a skinny kid, a skinny Mexican kid, and it's fine. I feel very comfortable now with that.
Do you kind of feel like you're going to have to beat Davison twice? Like if you beat him, you're going to run it back again for the trilogy?
Maybe depends. Depends what happened in the next one. Because if I beat this guy in the first round, like I knock him out badly, maybe the UFC want to make another different fight. But if the fight is a war again, yeah, is the trilogy can be very possible.
If you beat Davison, like who do you think that first title defense would be? Because he's obviously an option. You have Askar Askarov out there. Like, is that kind of the guy you think would be next in line?
Yes, Askarov is the next in line, definitely. You never know with the UFC because Cody Garbrandt is always there. He has an important fight this weekend against Rod Font, and it's a hard fight. I think he can lose that fight actually. So you never know. I think the next on the line is Askarov, but we'll see.
Just last thing, Dana White wraps the belt around your waist. Like, what would those emotions be like for you?
Man, I can't wait for that moment. I mean, I can make a plan of everything. But you never know what really happened in that moment. So I just want to get I'm just want to beat this guy. I just want to get the title, and whatever happened after that, I don't care.
All right, well, Brandon, man, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks for doing this again.
Man, thank you so much, brother. Thanks for your time again too.
Yeah. All right, we're joined by, I guess, UFC light heavyweight now. Like a bit of middleweight, bit of light heavyweight. Eryk Anders, how's it going?
I get in where I fit in, middleweight, light heavyweight. Um, I don't even think I'd be opposed to taking a heavyweight fight if the opportunity was right.
Obviously, the first Darren Stewart fight, like you hurt him pretty bad. The knee happened. Like after that, when it was a no contest, did you kind of think you guys would run it back right away?
Um, I didn't know. Really didn't matter to me. I think it was pretty clear who was winning that fight, and it's not like if that knee happens in the first minute of the fight, Darren takes as much time as he needs to recover, and then we continue fighting. But kind of because of that onslaught that was ensuing, he wasn't going to be coherent enough to answer any questions or do any kind of protocol anyway. So you know, um, I really don't lobby for fights or whatever. It's just kind of whoever they give me. They said they wanted to run it back, and it was Darren's choice to do it at 205. So I felt okay, whatever.
Oh, so it wasn't your choice. I thought it would have been kind of a bit of both of you guys wanted 205.
Nah, hell no. I prefer middleweight. Especially after that last cut, it was so good for me, and I just think that I could have done that again just as easily. So, but you know, even after we signed the contracts, he came back and said he wanted to fight at 205, and like I said, I'm not sure what his rhyme or reason or rationale was for that, but if he thinks that's going to help him win or make it a better fight, then okay, whatever.
Do you think it's kind of maybe to add some strength because maybe his game plan is now try to wrestle you and he wants some extra size on him?
Man, to be honest, I think that when guys go up in weight, especially he's fighting another middleweight at 205, I think he'll be more durable. Um, to be honest, I think that maybe the weight cut does take a toll on him. Whatever. I don't, like I said, I don't know. I don't know how big he is, how big he gets, or how much he weighs, or how much he has to cut, or anything like that. I just know that June 12th we're going to show up at 205 and let him ride, kind of like we did the first time. But maybe he thinks that he'll have a strength advantage. But I think for sure, outside of all that, I think he'll be more durable. I don't think I'll drop him as easy, but I don't know if his cardio will be, better or worse. So, I'm sure it's a double-edged sword. There's pros and cons to moving up and weight for him, but he thinks it's his best possible chance to win, and whatever.
And this fight only got announced about like a month out, but I heard you had a lot more notice. Like, when did you kind of find out about this fight?
Oh man, I've been out here in Arizona training for this fight for 4 or 5 weeks already. So I think when it come fight night, I would have known about this for about 8, 9 weeks.
So I guess middleweight wasn't out of the picture then, because I thought that part of the reason why was just because it was like a month notice fight. But if you had a full camp, like you both could have made middleweight.
Nah, we both signed to fight at middleweight, and then he came back and said he wanted to fight at 205, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Obviously this was the last fight was your first like real training camp at Fight Ready. Now then you're getting your second one. How much different like is the training camp given you're just preparing for the same guy? Like is it the same stuff you're doing the first time around?
Add more wrinkles. If you thought that that I looked good in the last fight, with the progression in my fighting style and the way I do things, then just wait till June 12th, because man, just adding on and doing more, with 9 more weeks, and really only had like a month off, so just kind of let some things heal up, and so I've basically been in camp for what we're in May, so for 4 out of the 5 months of this year, so I'm really looking forward to June 12th.
Well, Walt's fighting the week before you. Are you gonna head down to Alabama for a bit and help him out, or you just only stay in Arizona?
No, I'm gonna stay in Arizona. I think he's in Las Vegas training at Extreme, getting ready for this fight. So I know Eryk Anders will have him prepared and ready for battle.
Obviously, the first fight, I think everyone kind of knew the way it was going. Like it was getting close to that first round knockout. Is that kind of how you see this fight playing out this time around? Or do you think with 205, like he's going to be a bit more durable and take some of those shots?
Man, like I said, I think he'll be more durable. So, but I hit way harder at 205. Man, there's a lot more mass coming behind these punches, and I don't really think that like my speed drops off that much, or my cardio falters. So, man, I do look to set a high pace, um, and see if he'll melt.
Yeah, I was looking. His first two UFC fights were at light heavyweight, and he had no contest, and he lost one of them. But do you not think you're gonna have a bit of advantage at light heavyweight just because you fought there more recently? You know, kind of what your cardio is like, because carrying an extra 20 pounds, like it must kind of impact your cardio and how you have to push the pace.
Yeah, sure. But also I'm just a naturally bigger dude, so um, I think fighting at 205 is going to hinder him more than it's going to help him. Outside of being more durable, it's not really going to matter if you're not answering shots. How durable you are. So like I said, I think it favors me fighting at 205 more so than his. I'm taller, wider, longer, a naturally heavier guy. So I'm not really sure why he wants to fight at 205. Maybe, like I said, maybe it'll be a more competitive fight. I don't know, but I'm looking to go out there and do exactly what I did the first time.
And this card sold out in Arizona. Like, what's that gonna be like fighting back in front of the fans?
Oh my goodness! I just came back from I just landed back from Houston, and went to the fights this past weekend, Chandler versus Oliveira, and man, just the energy of the crowd, man. You can see the as soon as one solid shot lands, and these guys, the crowds, ooh, ah, the pace of the fight and the intensity of the fight picks up. The fighters hear that, and that energy, from the crowd. I don't know what the best way to describe it, but man, it makes them, fight harder. It makes they start beating each other up more.
Yeah.
My kind of fight. So I really look forward to the crowd, the energy of the crowd, to hearing the crowd, and to go out there and get my hand raised on the 12th.
And the fight being in Arizona, how much benefit is that to you, where you're not going on this long flight? Are you even just driving there, or do you have to take a short flight?
Now I think Glendale's like 10 miles down the road,
Oh,
so
so
yeah,
that's real
I'll be
nice.
driving. So yeah, it'll be pretty much a home game for me. And I'm not from Arizona, but like I said, I'm live out here half the year. If I fight 3 times a year, I'm out here for 2 months at a time. So I'm sure the crowd will be behind me. Him being from Britain, from London, from the UK, wherever he's from. I'm sure will have an added impact to the fight.
Are you going to get the UFC and Buffer to say you're training at Arizona to get that little crowd pop going?
Yeah, man, I got to absolutely. One thing I will say is like I think we're on the prelims because the main card is a pretty
Oh,
stacked card.
yeah.
So I'm not sure how many people will be there or where we'll be at on the prelims or how many people will be there. But man, even if there's 3 people in the crowd, I look to have them on my side. So we'll see.
Well, that's actually what I want to touch on next. Like, what's it like for you to be on this card? You've been on some big cards before. You've headlined a couple cards, but like this one, 2 title fights. Like Nate Diaz is on the card. Like, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it.
Man, as soon as I'm done fighting, I'm gonna go back to the hotel, shower, change, and head right back to the arena, grab a beer, and sit down next to my wife and enjoy the rest of the night of fights.
Just a couple more things. What do you think a win over Darren does for you? I assume obviously you're playing back down to middleweight after this one.
Man, I don't know. If they ask me to fight at 205, I'll do that, no problem. But it just kind of starts the streak. I really haven't put together too many wins in a row, to be honest. Like heavyweight or middleweight. I'll win one, lose one, win 2, lose 2, kind of thing. So, I think a consistent winning streak is what I need. And, a win over Darren, I'm not really sure what it does for me, but, it gets me both my checks and, more money that I can invest, for the future. So, that's what I'm looking at right now. And then, you put 2 or 3 together, 3 or 4 together, you're in that top 15. You're fighting to get in that top 15, top 10 kind of thing. So, this is just, the starting point kind of thing.
Do you really care who's next, or is it just whoever the UFC offers you and you just sign the contract?
Not really. I thoroughly enjoy fighting. I love the sport. I love the training. I love everything. I love the mindset. So, and I love the challenge. So, I'm sure whoever they give you next, it'll be a challenge, and I'm up for it.
You'll already be 2 fights in this year, halfway through the year. Are you hoping to get another 2 and get 4 this year, especially after just 1 fight last year?
I think one more would be good. I think early November, late October would be great. Give me some time to rest. We're going on vacation, right after this fight. So, let me enjoy the summer with the family, and I'll be back to it in the fall and winter.
With the crowd, like, are you worried about like an adrenaline dump? Because like you even seen in the past, like the Jacksonville card, that first fight of the night where that one girl thought she had to finish, just kind of the crowd was going behind, she just dumped all her energy out and didn't get nothing in the second.
I mean, I'm gonna do that anyways. If I get you hurt like that girl had her hurt, man, I'm not really gonna pull off the reins. And man, if you survive, then then you survive. But if I get you hurt, I'm trying to get you out of there. And crowd or no crowd, that's just the way it is.
Just last thing, like, what's kind of this past year and a half been for you? Because you only had that 1 fight against Jocko. Like we talked about it, you weren't too happy with your performance, and then you get the fight against Stewart. It just ends like that with the illegal knee and a no contest.
It's kind of frustrating, but I'm a kind of the glass is half full, kind of thing. I think that's I've showed a lot of, progression, from Jocko to Stewart. Thought I looked faster. Thought I, aesthetically and physically, I looked the best I've ever looked. Felt the best I ever felt. I was fighting pretty good until I need him, but that's just part of the game. So I just kind of want to build on that, keep it moving forward, keep the the steady rise. So if you thought I looked good the last fight, I'm looking even better this fight.
Well, actually, just one other thing too is when this fight too. Obviously, you rematched Stewart. The first time you guys fought, you were like this big underdog, and now you're the big favorite this time around. So obviously, Vegas thinks you're gonna win.
Last time I looked, we were even. So I don't know what's the odds now.
When they opened you as a favorite. I'll check right. Yeah, you're minus 150 right now.
I mean,
and when you guys fought last time, you were plus 160. So yeah, it's just basically flipped completely.
Yeah. I really don't know how they make those odds. I was kind of glad I was the underdog for that fight. I thought that some people would make some money, but I kind of fucked everybody's money up a little bit. So just remember when you bet on me, you owe me 10%.
Yeah.
Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, I got it all. Apple Pay, all that. So when you watch this and you place that bet, 10%.
Yeah, I think that's what it should be. Or if they see you, they got to buy you a beer at the fight after.
Oh yeah, that's automatic. That's automatic.
All right, well, Eryk, man, I appreciate the time. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thank you so much. You have a good one.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Matt Frevola, who's back in action at UFC 263. Matt, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Before you get any fight, I just want to touch on your last one. Obviously, a ton of weird circumstances. Like you're supposed to fight Ottman as Zatar, then all of a sudden, like he's off the fight, released from the UFC because he was sneaking people in. Like when that all happened, like what's kind of going through your head? Because you probably think you're no longer fighting.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. It was like the day of weigh-ins. I'm cutting weight, and I've got like 2 pounds to go. I'm about to do like my last sauna session, and my coach and manager walks in, Matt Arroyo, and he breaks the news to me. And especially after 2020, I had a bunch of fights canceled. I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that it was happening again. I was really heartbroken, but my team was there, and they encouraged me, and they helped me cut that last 2 pounds. They told me to cut the weight, weigh in, and I'll be a replacement fighter. And they were pumping me up, saying I could be fighting Michael Chandler, I could be fighting Dan Hooker, I could be fighting like one of the other like big name 155ers on the card. And then we found out that Armin's opponent didn't show up, and we got a chance to go in there and fight a top guy like Armin. It was tough, because I was preparing for Ottman, who's a boxer the whole time, and then I get Armin thrown at me, who's a wrestler. I would like that fight again with a full camp. With a full camp to really prepare for his wrestling. I think that fight goes different. But I was happy to just get in there and fight, and test myself against a high level guy like Armin.
Well, yeah, that's what I want to touch on. Is obviously that's a totally different style. Like you couldn't get two more opposite kind of fighters. Like Ottman's trying to box and try to knock you out in the first round, and Armin's trying to just shoot for takedowns all the time and kind of grind you out. So, what kind of was that net? Because you guys obviously weighed in. Like you had almost about a day and a half after weigh-ins to the fight. So what was that kind of time like? Were you even like studying Armin, or was it just I just got to go in there and see what happens?
Yeah, I've been following Armin for a while. I was actually, I want to say it was like 2017. I was in Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai training, and Armin was there, and I actually got to like spar around with him, so I was familiar with him. But he didn't shoot a takedown during that sparring round, and it was a good round. And the one thing I remember about that sparring round was he hit me with this spinning back kick that like hit me good right in the chest. So and his striking was real good, and so I knew he was good. And when we got that fight booked, I knew he was high level, and for some reason I thought he was going to strike with me more. I think it was probably because of that sparring round we had, but he came out and he was shooting those takedowns on my first or second strike, and I could never really get my combos going. And I should have at least mentally prepared for the wrestling from shooting more. But hindsight's always always 50-50. So, but again, like every time I step into that octagon, I'm learning and I'm growing, and it's been a while since I got to fight, so I really got to go in there and shake the cobwebs off and get it. I didn't go all the way out to Abu Dhabi to not fight, so I'm glad I got to fight.
And returning in June, was this kind of the time frame you were looking for?
Yeah, it was. At first I wanted May, and then we didn't get May, and then of course, I wanted June. And we got this June 12th fight. I got about 7-8 weeks notice, which is about average. I always like to get more notice just to get, more of a camp behind me. But I'm always training, and to get the pay-per-view card with fans is huge. I'm really excited about that, to be going out to Arizona with a sold-out arena. On another pay-per-view card. So this will be like the fourth time I'm fighting on a pay-per-view card. So I'm excited about that, and with the fans, I'm real happy. I got 40 of my buddies and family coming out to Arizona to come watch these fights and have a great weekend like we used to do.
And Frank Camacho, was this someone you had your eye on, or is it just who the UFC offered you?
Yeah, I've been watching Camacho for a long time. And I was supposed to fight him in 2020, but that fight got canceled for COVID. So, I already did a whole fight camp to prepare for him. And I definitely wanted that fight back. I prepared for him. And I've been thinking about, fighting him for a year now. So I'm going to finally get to go in there and do what I've been preparing to do. And, he's a tough guy. He's got over 30 fights. He's a warrior. He's a gladiator, and so am I. So that's why this is going to be a great fight. You got two gladiators in there that are going to throw down.
What have you made of Frank's recent skid? Like, he's 1-4 in his last 5, could probably fighting for his UFC job here. But you look at the guys he lost to, like Beneil Dariush, we just saw he's a top 3 lightweight now. Like Jeff Neal's dangerous at welterweight. Like Drew Dober, Li Jingliang. Like, he's only losing to guys that are now in the top 15, top 10 in their divisions.
Yeah, definitely. That's the UFC. Everybody in the UFC is going to be good, and you're gonna go on those skids, and that just makes me expect the best from him. He's coming off those losses, so he's going to be preparing. I'm expecting the best Frank that there is out there, and he's going to get the best steamroller there is, and that's why it's going to be a great fight.
Are these the kind of fights you like? Like, this is similar to what the Ottman fight would have been. It's just you two kind of standing, not like there might be some takedowns, but it's probably like, Frank, he likes to stand and kind of trade with guys.
Oh yeah, these are the fights that I live for. Just like I said before, he's a gladiator, and I'm gonna give him what every gladiator wants. A glorious death in the arena. I'm gonna spill his blood upon the sands, and I know he's gonna be trying to do the same to me. So that's what it's all about. Fighting another warrior on the world's biggest stage, and I'm excited.
How do you see this fight playing out? Because with Frank, like, he's kind of one of those live by the sword, die by the sword kind of guys, where he's going to either knock you out or he's kind of getting knocked out or finished himself.
Yeah, I see it just being a great fight, and me being able to go out there and showcase all my skills and look like the best steamroller that you guys have ever seen. I know I'm capable of a lot more than I've showed, and every time I get a fight in that octagon, I get the chance to really showcase that, and that's what I plan on doing.
Well, what do you think a win over Frank puts you in this division?
I think it just keeps building momentum, and that's what I need to do right now is just keep fighting and keep building that momentum and keep bettering myself, keep growing, and enjoy the ride.
You kind of brought it up earlier, but this obviously card, it's a big card. Like you have 2 title fights, you have Nate Diaz on it, so there's going to be a lot of eyeballs, and then it's with fans. Like, what's that kind of like for you to be back in front of card fans? Because I'm sure you saw what Houston, Jacksonville, like it was kind of crazy, all those fans back, and it seemed like the fighters kind of responded to that, and it was kind of a different kind of energy in there.
Yeah, you just said it right there. The energy. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Just that the crowd's energy and being able to put on a great fight in front of a live audience is there's no better feeling than that. And my friends and my family are all flying out to Arizona to be there, and that's one of the things I love most about fighting is a steamroller fight. The team rollers come out, and I go out there and I fight hard, and then we party afterwards, and it's a great time for everybody. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, what's the plan then? Get the win and stay in the arena and watch the rest of the fights, or go back to the hotel with everyone?
I'm definitely trying to get back into that arena and see my friends and family. The UFC doesn't usually let you go into the audience, but hopefully we'll be able to finagle our way to all my buddies. My friends and family all got a suite, so they're gonna have like a suite of like 40 people up there. So we're definitely gonna find our way up to that suite and enjoy the rest of the fights.
Just a couple more things. When we talked before January, you kind of saying how active you want to be this year just because of no fights in 2020. So what's kind of the rest of the year like for you? Obviously fight June 12th. Like, what are you looking at? Probably try to get 2 more in this year and get 4 fights this year.
Yeah, I always got to take it one fight at a time. So, I'm going to go out there and get this big win, and then we'll see what's after that. The only thing after that I really have on the schedule is I'm getting married in September. So I've been pushing a lot of stuff till after the fight about this wedding. So, after this fight, got to really crack down and get this wedding squared away, and then marry my fiance, and we'll see after that.
Do you really care like who's next or who call it or anything? Is it really just right now where you are, just whoever the UFC gives you and kind of work your way up the ranks?
I definitely got a list of names on the hit list that I want to fight, and I definitely have to give that Ottman guy a beating that he deserves. So that's definitely a fight I want down the road, whether it's after Frank or whether it's down the road. Eventually that guy needs to get humbled, and I hope to be the one to do it.
The big question around Ottman was what was in the bag? What were your kind of theories? A lot of people thought maybe it's something to help him with the weight cut because one of his, I think it was his brother, posted a picture of him and like he looked like he was about to like die, like passing out. Like, what were your kind of theories on what was in that?
I mean, I think it was probably an IV, but to help him rehydrate or to hide the steroids that he's on or whatever. But he said that they were potatoes. That's the big joke. It was potatoes, but and then Dana White let him back into the UFC. And I wanted that fight right when I heard that he got let back in the UFC. I hit up my manager and we pushed to get that fight back booked again. But I guess he had Ramadan or something. But maybe he needed the time to get the potatoes out of his system. Who knows? So we'll see what happens with him. But eventually he's going to get the humbling that he needs.
Just last thing, I was at my buddy's house a couple weeks ago. We watching Rough and Rowdy, and then all of a sudden, you and Billy Q are cornering your brother. What was that kind of like?
Oh my God, that was awesome. We turned it into my bachelor party. So we had a crew out in Morgantown, West Virginia, and it was real like a role reversal. Usually it's me on the fight week, and this time it was my twin brother who was taking his first fight, and he trained hard for that. He was working with me 2-3 times a week, and I would invite all my buddies over to box him, to give him that like unorthodox like wild man look, and it it was fun, man. I trained him, I prepared him well, and he went in there and he handled business and he beat that dude's ass. And we had a great time in Morgantown. I got to meet the whole Barstool crew, and it was a great weekend. Shout out to the cheese roller.
What's the plan for your brother? Is he gonna do more of those rough and rowdy, or is he actually gonna try to look to get into fighting for real?
Yeah, we'll see. I told him that he's got to at least get that rough and rowdy title before he retires. But, his fiance wasn't about it. So we need her to sign off on it before we see the cheese roller back. But we'll see, man. I see like all these celebrity boxing fights. I saw Aaron Carter is boxing. I think Aaron Carter might pull the cheese roller out of retirement. I like that fight. Maybe a cheese roller DJ Pauly D fight might pull him out. Like you said in that interview, if the bag's right, the cheese roll is coming to fight.
All right, well, Matt, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Steven Peterson, who's got a big fight coming up here at UFC 263. Steven, how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. Obviously, we talked in January, end of January, just before your fight. You were supposed to fight in February. You announced you're out of your fight, and you mentioned in that interview you want Chase Hooper next. You end up getting him on June 12th. But did you expect the UFC to give you Chase Hooper?
No, I really didn't. When he fought Alex Russ, Alex Caceres, they said it was kind of a mismatch, or at least the commentators did, and they weren't too fond of that. But I feel like I'm a lot worse of a matchup for Chase Hooper. I thought they were kind of protecting him, but I guess it's time to either sink or swim.
Obviously, Chase Hooper, you kind of know what it is. He goes for those Imanari rolls. He tries to get a hold of your leg, but on the feet, like he gets hit a lot. Like Caceres was hitting him a lot. Even Tamer was hitting him a lot. Peter Bear was hitting him a lot. Is that basically the whole game plan? Is to kind of get out of those Imanari rolls, and it's just kind of free sailing when you're on the feet with them?
Yeah, I don't care how good of a jiu-jitsu practitioner you are. You don't want to get caught in the Imanari roll. That's just something you want to avoid. Like somebody going after your legs, you kind of want to get your legs out of there. So, I plan on hitting him. I plan on hitting him a lot, and I plan on just totally beating him down with violence, just breaking him down over the first round and taking him out towards the end of the first round.
His last fight, he obviously was a good comeback, getting that third round submission, but he was getting beat up those first two rounds against Peter Barrett, a guy that's not even in the UFC anymore. Like, what did you make of his last fight?
Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining, but I mean, I give it to the kid. He pulled it off. He got the win. I have a fight when I was about 21, maybe 22, where I was getting the crap beat out of me for the first two rounds. I was dropped, I think twice in the first and once in the second, and I came back in the second and won that fight by omoplata. So I know what that feels like, but yeah, he looked sloppy the whole first and second round, and then he was able to land that Imanari roll, which was it was slick. You got to give it to the kid. But I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to do something like that against me. I think I'm way too violent for him, and I'm going to take him out.
In the UFC, everyone kind of knows you as this striker and a guy with knockout power, but coming up on the regional scene, you had a lot of success grappling-wise. Like, do you kind of think people have forgotten about your grappling and how good you are on the ground?
They really have. It's like MMA fans, even the media and even the matchmaker. Everybody's got a real short memory when it comes to MMA. But shoot, I was this kid's age one time, and I was doing real cool things as well. So I started off as kind of a brawler, learned a little bit of boxing, and then learned some jiu-jitsu. And those tricks that I learned in jiu-jitsu won me some really good fights and really fast. I have a minute 24, or I have a 24-second submission. I have a 59-second submission, and I have a minute 16.
So obviously with Hooper, like, you kind of know the gameplay, but how do you see his fight playing out? Because credit to Hooper, like, as much as he gets hit, he hasn't been knocked out. Caceres rocked him a couple times. Tamer landed some good shots, but he has shown off a good enough chin where he's not getting put out.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good chin, but the thing I've noticed is these guys are scared to go to the ground with him. Alex Caceres put him down pretty dirty, and he looked like he was on Queer Street. I think it was one or two more shots would have put him out. I'm that dude. If I knock him down, I'm gonna hop on him. I'm gonna put him away. I'm not afraid to go to the ground with this kid. So he's in for a hell of a fight.
How much pressure are you putting on yourself just because you haven't fought since September 2019? You were in MMA a lot. You kind of know it's a what have you done for me lately sport. Like, people forget about you very quickly, even though your last fight was a highlight reel one.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's no pressure. I'm doing what I love, and pressure is when you kind of you kind of put that on yourself. You're like, I have to win, But no, I'm not thinking about the outcome or the destination. I'm just enjoying the whole process. I'm enjoying the training camp. I'm enjoying being healthy, feeling good, and I'm looking forward to getting in the octagon and just going in there, taking it in, showcasing my skills, and taking this kid out. I mean, I'm confident that I have the skills to take him out. If he puts me in danger, then that's even worse for him. I'm the kind of guy where you come at me, you try to hurt me, I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna hurt you bad. So I'm just gonna go in there, have fun, and let my fighting do the talking.
What do you think a win over Chase, especially if you get a knockout or a submission? Or, yeah, like maybe you might even go out and tap this guy, but what do you think a win over him does for you? Because he has a lot of hype.
Yeah, it definitely gets me the hype that I feel I deserve. I've been fighting for 13 years. I feel like he has everything that I deserve that I've been working for. He's making just as much, if not more. I saw one check he got paid 29 and 29, and he's getting paid more than me. So I feel like I deserve that. So I'm gonna go out there, prove that I deserve it, and I think a win over Chase Hooper gets me what I deserve.
Is this although he hasn't been finished, like, is this one you think you can go out there and get the stoppage?
100%. I'm confident I'm going to take him out in the first round. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to keep going. This is a 1-round fight for me. I'm not. I don't fight to try to win a decision. The goal is to go in the cage and take the guy out. So every round's a new round. I'm going in there to take the kid out. I'm not trying to win a decision.
Would part of you want to rock him and then try to submit him? Just like, because we saw Anthony Hernandez submit Rodolfo Vieira and everyone was kind of shocked just because he was considered the way better grappler. Like, is part of you thinking of that? Like, man, maybe I might try and go tap him out just to kind of show how good a grappler I am?
Most definitely. I mean, I'm a complete mixed martial artist. Whatever he gives me, I'm gonna take it. And if that be a submission, I'll take that. Uh, if I go in there and I rock him, and then he leaves himself open, I'm not gonna pick and choose the way I take him out. I'm gonna go out there and take what he gives me.
Did you see the odds on your fight?
I saw the opening odds. I was the favorite, which is exactly what I would expect. I saw on Tapology a lot of people are expecting me to lose, but uh, that's even better. I love proving people wrong. I love being the bad guy. I love being the underdog. All that stuff fires me up. So that bring it, man. I don't care what the fans or the odds makers say is going to happen. I'm the one that gets to go in there and decide that. So why would I give them any power? The power's in my hands.
I actually thought you'd be the underdog just because Hooper gets so much kind of bet. Like, if you look at it, he was like a 250 favorite over Caceres.
You could tell, yeah, you could tell they did their homework on me because,
Yeah.
I figured I'd be the underdog. I was like, oh, that's so perfect for all my fans. Like, they're gonna bet me up.
And fighting on this card, like, what's it like for you to be on this card with fans in Arizona, like a massive kind of event? There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this.
I live for the fans. This is why I fight. I couldn't imagine fighting in front of no crowd. It's just ridiculous. I'm so excited to fight in front of a crowd on such a hyped card. I wish I was on the main card, but it's such a stacked card. I gotta accept where I'm at in my career and just work to be a more staple fighter.
Who are you working with for this camp? Obviously, a lot of good fighters of Forrest. I know you're really close with Fernie. He's got to get on the Contender Series this summer, though.
Yeah, Fernie needs to get on the Contender Series. I've been working with Fernie for quite a while, but he's not really a good look for this fight as far as size and style. But yeah, I've been working with Stephen Nguyen. He's a taller striker, and some jiu-jitsu guys as well. I'm not going to name too many, but I've worked with Tony Mack with my boxing. Coach Sace, the general, he keeps me in check and makes sure I'm always on point. So I've been grinding, and Fortis is stacked, man. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm just going to leave it at that. My main training partner right now, Stephen Nguyen, he'll be in my corner as well.
I don't know if he's back in the gym, but if you got into roll with Diego, because I assume he's probably a good look, just how high level his jiu-jitsu is to prepare for Chase.
Yeah, I've gotten to roll with him in the past, but yeah, he's not back in the gym yet. We got a lot of high level guys as well, but Diego's always a really good role. Yeah, I love that dude, and I can't wait for him to get back and bounce back from that loss.
Obviously, you didn't fight at all last year. Like, you get your hand raised here. Like, how quickly do you want to turn this thing around? Because I assume you want to be pretty active this year.
I want to get at least 2 more by the end of the year. This one plus at least 2 more. I know we're already halfway through the year, but I like to stay active. And now that I'm healthy, let's get this thing on a roll, baby. I need to get this finish, and then one more finish, and now we can start talking about some real big fights.
With the fight not being at the Apex where they had most of the card, do you not think that's a advantage for you? Because now you're in that 30-foot octagon, not the 25 one, because 25-foot octagon, like, Chase Hoover has less room to kind of try to close the distance, where 30 feet, like, he has to come in, he has to move around and try to get inside, and you could kind of use your footwork to get away from those rolls.
Yeah, I mean, having a crowd is in my favor. Having the bigger octagons in my favor. I'm just excited to get back in there and perform for the people. That's what I do it for, and I just can't wait.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Frank Camacho, who is back in action. Frank, how's it going, man?
Man, good, Cole. Very good. Thanks for having me on the show, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate doing this on your birthday. Nonetheless, I got a message from your manager to say, make sure you tell Frank happy birthday. So happy birthday!
Yeah, thank you. Freaking 32, crazy. Whoa.
Obviously, your last fight didn't go your way. You were supposed to fight Matt Frevola actually on that card, and then it got switched to Justin James. And then, what do you take away from that fight? Just because it was such a quick fight, and it was kind of just a wild fight for how long it lasted.
That was kind of like all my fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If anything, I think my take on it was like, well, the Apex was just a whole different thing. I love the crowd. I'll put my hands up and freaking get the crowd going, and I mean, it's what I've always been. I've always fantasized about during fights, you know what I mean, and fighting in the UFC. And if anything, I think Justin James, man, he just stayed lower and he cracked me with some good shots, you know what I mean. But I knew though that I was gonna somehow, some way that we would run it back, or I would run into Frevola again.
Almost a year off. Like, you fought last June 20th, fighting June 12th here. You're supposed to fight Brock Weaver in September. Like, what kind of caused the layoff? Like, was this always planned, or is this just something that, like, injuries kind of forced you out?
No, so I was supposed to fight Brock, but then I tested positive for COVID. So then that thing happened, and then I stayed back in Cali for about like 3-4 weeks trying to get another fight. Just things never really materialized. I think they already booked the cards, and I was just kind of like, holidays are coming. Let me get back in. I was looking at trying to get back earlier this year, but I guess June opened up, and hey, shit, dude, I'm kind of glad because I know we're fighting with a crowd.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Like, silver lining of this is it you're not at the Apex, you're in Arizona, sold out arena. Like, you've probably watched the Jacksonville and Houston cards. Like, it's just a different kind of fighting energy when you get the full crowd, especially now after not having it for a year. It seems totally different.
Yeah, so what is so cool because for Frevola and I, we're going to be early on in the card, so seeing Jacksonville, seeing Houston, how there's a pretty good amount of people by the prelims. It's gonna be good.
You kind of mentioned you always thought you were gonna fight Frevola again. Like, was that just because it got canceled so late you thought, or is that just a matchup you like the UFC seems to like and they were gonna rebook?
Well, Sean Shelby, if you really just look at this fight, you see what Sean Shelby's doing with this one, and I guess I would say like at my like ranking tier level, yeah, it was bound to happen, like I'm bound to fight him down the line, for sure.
His last fight, how much stock do you put into it? Just because he was supposed to fight Ottman as Atar, and then that whole kind of thing where he was sneaking in that stuff on the fight out and got released, and then he ended up fighting Armin like on weigh-in day. They made the fight. So, do you even really look at that loss, like, or do you just kind of push that out and you can't really take too much away from it?
Because I think both of their opponents pulled out, right?
Yeah.
So it was kind of like they kind of just went in there raw with what they got. You know what I mean? That guy was a good wrestler. Frevola is always steamrolling nonstop, and I just thought, not so much, but yeah, no, I don't really, yeah, not at all.
Well, UFC have a 2-inch reach advantage, but you're a guy that you're going to kind of throw down no matter what. Is that kind of what you're hoping for in this fight is a striking battle, or do you think he's going to try to take you down at some point?
What is it seems like like when he does get hurt, he does go for takedowns. And his takedowns are good. He's just nonstop. If anything, like his gas tank and his cardio is a secret weapon. So, I just plan to do my thing. You see my fights, just get in his face and make it a fight.
How do you see this fight playing out?
What's so crazy is that my two previous losses, right? My loss to Benil within the first round, my loss to Justin James within the first round, my September fight being canceled. Honestly, I'm just fantasizing about a 3-round freaking war. I just want that. Just give me that. Yeah. Let me make up my time in there. You know what I mean? And in the event it doesn't happen that way, and a finish comes, hey, I'll take that. But I'm just, as a competitor and as a fighter, I'm fantasizing about that.
Obviously, you are 1-4 in your last fight, but you look at who you lost to. It's Beneil Dariush's the number 3 lightweight. We just saw him dominate Tony Ferguson. It's Jeff Neal, who's on one of like a top 15 welterweight. Drew Dober, who's a really good lightweight. Like, so how much do you take away from those losses? Because you were fighting like elite guys that are in the top 10 of divisions when they weren't even ranked, and they were kind of starting their trend up the division.
Well, I never really thought of that since you mentioned it, but I truly believe that I'm up there. I can compete with these guys, and it was fighting all those guys, and the results that we got, right, were not that great, but with the loss, but I feel that just with proper adjustments, dude, I'm right there. I'm in the organization to climb the ranks, and I'm not just to kind of like hang out and get some good fights or whatever, you know what I mean? So thinking about it now, yeah, it's like a confidence booster, if anything. But I mean, I don't ever want to fight Jeff Neal ever again. But man, great guy. And I'm also too very blessed to fight really good guys, and down the line, would love to work my way up and earn my way to be fighting Dober again, and to be fighting Beneil again.
Obviously, you're no stranger to the game. Like, losing 3 in a row in the UFC is never good. So, like, how much, like, do you kind of think this is a fight that could be do or die for your UFC career?
Oh, for sure. Like, I would be lying if there's no pressure. You know what I mean? Like, I was feeling the pressure in September because it was my last fight on my contract, and and I don't want to, 3 losses is devastating. You know what I mean? So at the same time, I don't want any of that to kind of like tailor my game. So just gonna go in there and do what the crank does,
Did you re-sign, or is it still like only have one fight left in your deal?
I have one more fight on my deal.
Oh, so they're just kind of gonna see what happens with this one.
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like, oh, I need to get that W. I need to get that W with flying.
With Frevola, like he's a guy that he was on that he beat Jalen Turner, beat Luis Pena, and then he has a draw against Leno Venata, who's always game. So like, what do you think a win over him does for you and puts you in the division?
I think a win over him is yeah, it's great in the division, but I'm really just looking at this one for myself, like as a martial artist and as a fighter and a competitor, just getting that win, man, and just getting that just getting in there and just proving to myself that, hey, yeah, I still got it.
Where is training for you right now? Are you at home or are you out in the States?
No, so I'm here in Irvine. I do my camps with Team Moyama.
Oh, that's like Alex Perez and Luis Mocha and all them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually staying at Alex's place.
Something I also want to touch on is obviously with the crowd. Like you're a guy that's a fan favorite with the crowd. Like, do you think that's gonna just only benefit you is keep feeling that roar of the crowd when you're in there again?
Yeah, I guess you can say benefits or it doesn't or whatever, but it's just something that I've always like thought about doing, prior on my road to fighting in the UFC, it's always been, oh man, I can't imagine I come from a small island, the promotions that I started fighting in were like 100, 200, 500, maybe like 2,000, so like coming to like a 15,000 like arena, it's like, wow, this is all I've been freaking dreaming about, so yeah. And I guess it's just the experience, personally for me, that I could take on forever and tell stories and all these lessons learned for my kids.
You look at this card, like it's one of the best cards they're gonna do, like the 2 title fights, Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards, like even the prelims, there's a lot of good fights. Like Eryk Anders, Dan Stewart should be a good one. Like Chase
Dober and Rigel, dude. So actually when I saw that fight, I messaged Dober, and then Dober actually messaged me. I was like, damn, this sucks, dude. Freaking that's one bonus out of the way.
Yeah, that was literally my next question. You look at this card, like does it kind of take some of the wind out of your sails? You're like, man, how the hell am I supposed to get a bonus on this card?
Yeah, truthfully, I'm not really hunting for the bonuses. They kind of like, my first 3, they just kind of came, but I kind of look at it as they're on the card of me.
Yeah. With it being in Arizona with fans, are you hoping after your fight get back into the arena somehow and watch these fights as a fans? Because there's a lot of entertaining fights on this card.
I definitely want to watch all the fights. Usually, man, with the whole COVID thing, everything changes, So I don't know what's gonna happen if they have to shuttle us back to the hotel or what. Or I really don't know how they're gonna do it, with the crowd. But definitely gonna watch all those fights.
Just last thing, like obviously it's been a year off for you, so everything goes your way here. Like how quickly would you want to turn this thing around? Because I assume you probably want to be pretty active, but I guess the contract negotiations have to come first.
Of course, but I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Today's like you said, today's my birthday. I prefer to knock on wood, no injuries, no nothing, and with a good win, get back in there and fight one more time this year, 2 more times if I'm lucky. Just having fights always just kind of helps me continue to really sharpen that sword.
Actually, just one more quick thing. Are you planning on going back home after this fight, or are you just going to be in the States for here on out?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the plan. The wifey's coming out, and we're gonna watch. She's gonna watch the fight. We're gonna stay back for about maybe like a week and hang out with the team and see some family, and then go back home. But eventually the goal is is to get this W, and if there's a bonus on it, make the move and move my family here to Irvine so that I could train here full time.
All right, well, Frank, man, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks for doing this.
Cool, thank you, brother.